Hey, welcome back to another edition of Limited Skills. This is Brandon.
And this other one is James?
Yeah. Yes?
Oh, I'm confused.
All right.
I don't even know who we are anymore.
Well, that's sort of a theme for this draft then, isn't it?
Hey guys, I drafted.
Yeah?
That's a victory in itself, right?
Did you have fun?
Yeah. I could have had more fun. I could have had a lot more fun for a lot of reasons, but let's just focus on my picks for a moment, and I'll discuss why.
Okay.
When the plot thickens, as they say in the biz.
Are we in the biz? I mean, I've edited feature-length movies.
I was gonna say, like, we play games and we make movies. We're in the biz.
All right. Now you gotta pick a magic card.
Okay, my natural pull is to the rare, because that's me. But I actually think heaven to what is it? Heaven to
Earth?
To Earth is pretty good. Okay, some people think, oh, if they don't have any flyers, then it's useless. But you can cycle it to your graveyard, basically, for 1 green, just spinning X for 0. So the second effect is amazing. So if you're playing red-green, you definitely play that card.
Okay.
And then, I mean, the first effect can be a blowout if they're playing the flyers.
Sure. And the flying archetype's very strong, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the strongest, actually. So it's a counter to what I think is the strongest deck.
Well, there are good flyers in blue, and in white, and in... There's like a
Black's
couple
got a few
relevant ones in black.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, actually, Black's got some good flyers, for sure. So I'm not forcing green-red immediately, but I would be very happy to play that.
Yeah, no, I looked through this pack and I was trying to decide.
There's a lot of things I can pick here,
yeah,
and still be good. So if I wanted to play green-red, that Emberhorn Minotaur is all right. I could go Spring if I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do.
I liked the idea of Spring because it kind of holds you open. You can go in a bunch of different directions.
I can play Spring on its own. Like, it's not as good as a Rampant Growth, but it's good enough for limited.
Yeah.
I like that Minotaur Sure Shot a lot as well. So there's some good... I don't know, nothing sticks out. It's like, oh, this is the blowout best card. Like, regardless of my colors previously, I don't think any of those really stick out to me as, take this, second pick. So I just went with Spring, sort of just keep my options open.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I could, if I go into blue or red, then I get the secondary effect from either of those cards.
Yep. There's an Electrify.
Yeah, so far that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, I think that might be the best thing in the pack.
If I do green or blue, Gale Strike and that little cat that untapped stuff is pretty good. But I think Electrify is just the best pick in this pack. I do like that Drake a lot. They tend to get passed around kind of late, but I don't think they're bad early picks either.
Sure.
The 3/4 with cycling.
Yeah, that card's reasonable.
I've noted repeatedly, but I feel like 4 toughness is like the number to survive a lot of stuff in this, particularly in combat from other creatures.
For sure.
So there's not a whole lot of flyers at common and uncommon level that'll punch through that 3/4 if you've got it.
Yep.
But here I am, going down potentially the green-red path immediately.
Well, there's was that the Embalm Bird?
Yeah, which is sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, feeling like I already spent some picks on green-red, there wasn't anything that really stuck out to me in green-red in this pack, so I think maybe I just go the blue route.
Yeah, because now you're basically, what, 2 and 2?
Yeah, I'm pretty split even now, so I'm just on the fence. I don't know which way I'm going to go at this point. Green seems to be a definite, but really, looking at what I picked so far, none of the green cards I've gotten are like, ooh, yeah, snap pick that green card.
Yeah.
And I also don't feel like I've even passed a whole lot of tier 1 picks so far.
No, you could easily fall into blue-red, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know, even... I don't think I've actually played green-red or green-blue in this set yet.
But basically what we've established so far is that you haven't screwed up yet.
Yeah, my options are open, but I'm not really excited about anything either.
Right. There's the Green-White Land and the Evolving Wilds. And nothing else super awesome?
If I were in white, I would probably take the start to finish.
Okay.
I think that's the best card in this pack. The Evolving Wilds would be better for me because I can get any of the 3 colors I've started picking.
Right.
As I note with a hand gesture there. But who knows? I could play all 5 colors and just take the rare land instead. I think the Evolving Wilds would be a better pick regardless of what colors I'm playing at this point.
So if you're playing like Magic Online, take the Evolving Wilds.
If you like $2 pieces of cardboard, take the rare.
Well, and you're more likely to put that land in a commander deck than another Evolving Wilds.
Yeah, definitely. I've got too many Evolving Wilds.
Snake?
Yeah, it's just 2-drop, which has treated me well. Oketcher's Monument was worth considering. Even though I'm not playing white, I think the secondary effect is worth it.
Makes a dude, right?
Or primary effect, however you want to look at it.
Sure.
I went with the bounce spell because if I'm going to be light on blue, the bounce spell is still more relevant on turn 7, oftentimes, whereas you'll less consistently have your 3rd color on turn 2 when you need to drop a 2-drop creature.
Right.
So that's why I went with the sort of utility. I was feeling more comfortable about my red, so I felt fine taking that. I didn't really have anything with synergy of discarding, but I think it's fine. I think that card is great to play without the synergy. I think the synergy is just the cherry on top. If you like cherries, which I don't, but I understand some people do, so I know what that means. But 2 for a 4th rate, you should just play. You'll just kill people a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. And we've played cards in past sets that have had that kind of drawback, and they've been fine. Greater Sandworm, that card doesn't... The only drawback is that it's just double green, and you're 2.5 colors.
Yeah.
We're not sure which
we don't even know
of them yet.
We don't even know 1.5 of those colors, what they are.
But now you've got that Evolving Wilds, so you could be all 5?
Yeah, so I've got a land that splashes for white. I've got an Evolving Wilds.
Okay, I want to talk about this pick. I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay, interrupt me.
So I looked at this, and I know we've talked about how Haze of Pollen is not great, but I wanted you to take it. Because it cycles, and while you're floundering waiting for mana, it could buy you a turn.
Yeah. I think... Okay, let me explain.
All right.
I wasn't 100% committed to my colors, which is ridiculous because I'm already in 3 of them. And I thought, if I end up playing white for any reason, this 1/3 token guy with Embalm, I could potentially play.
Okay.
And I thought I would still probably rather play that if I went into white than the green card that would be easier to cast. And I don't think that Fog Effect is bad because it has cycling. If you're going to play a Fog Effect, that's the one you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was also just kind of worried about my creature count and trying to figure out what I was doing. So yeah, I've got 3 mana fixing here. If you count Scattered Groves that could splash in for white. I've got the Evolving Wilds and the Spring. So I feel really comfortable about going 3 colors right now. And in my mind, I'm thinking, it'd be fun if I went 5 color. But still, out of all 14 of those picks, there's nothing I'm actually really excited about. I didn't get a bomb rare. I didn't really get a whole lot of tempo. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. It's a pile of okay cards.
Sure. Yeah, it looks like somebody opened a booster, took out the rare, and threw the rest on the ground.
Yeah. Wait, that's not a good sign for me. I felt like this time... Okay, last time I played 2 of the blue cartouche, all my worthwhile creatures had flying anyway, so it was largely irrelevant. This time I had a bunch of good creatures to play it on. I don't think I ever drew it all night.
Oh.
It's just weird when you get excited about playing a common and then you never draw the common. Not that that increases your chance of the rare, but...
Right. I think I understand.
Enigma Drake in my colors. Those twins are good. Harsh Mentor's fine. Probably the worst of options that I just mentioned in my deck. But I don't have one at this point until now.
Yeah.
Also, it can do neat things. If they crack their Evolving Wilds, it deals 2 damage to them, and that's funny.
He's a bear.
Yeah.
Is he played in Standard, do you know?
I don't know.
He seems like one of those guys that
I don't think so, but I think in the right aggressive deck, maybe sideboard tech.
Sure. Ooh, I like Bitterblade Warrior. Apparently you also like Bitterblade Warrior.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm a little concerned about consistently throwing down 2-drops on turn 2, as I mentioned, because being in 3-color, you're not always going to have...
There's a Cartouche of Ambition.
Yeah. Which I considered... I think it's the shiny one, too. And that was the first thing where I thought, man, maybe I should pick up another color. Because that black Cartouche is so good. But I decided to tone it back a little, you know. Let's not do this the Brandon Manning way.
People are watching and they're judging you.
I mean, I think if I passed the rares and went 5-color, it would be more respectable than me taking these bad rares that aren't the best pick for my deck.
You could have taken the Cartouche of Solidarity and been all in on Cartouches. But Crocodile at the Crossing.
Since I know I'm playing green, that's the only color I know I'm playing.
Yeah.
Crocodile is amazing. It's got a lot of good synergy with things, and otherwise is fine on its own. Green haste creatures are always really good. I don't know, it's just a color that doesn't need haste, but when it gets it, bam.
I'm going to hit you in the face with a Crocodile that you didn't see coming.
Pick it up by the tail. Slap. Lean towards either the Cartouche or maybe the Manticore just for more bodies in my deck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, is that I think that exile spell in there where I'm immediately thinking, man, I wish I picked that black Cartouche and then went ahead and took this and had all the mana fixing to just play 4 colors now. So I passed 2 things now I'm sort of regretting. But I got another Cartouche. If I pick up a Trial, it's going to be amazing. I've got a few good things I can play that on curve to fight effectively.
There's the red 2/2 and the Bitterblade Warrior, and do you have any of them?
No, maybe not.
There's a couple of birds.
If I splash white, I've got a 1/3.
Because that's what you want fighting anything. It'll survive the fight.
I'd never seen that card before. Nobody played it against me. I don't recall passing it. So I was kind of excited about that since I was fairly confident I was in red as well.
Yeah, I guess he's neat. At 3/3 for 3. Also, it has trample. Also, I just read the card.
I was thinking the only thing that's really matters giving trample in my deck is the Crocodile. Nothing else is really big enough. Oh, so the Decimator Beetle. Yep. This was the last thing I saw where I was like, I've screwed up in not going 4-color.
Oh yeah, Decimator Beetle's really good.
Because that card is very powerful. If you're playing black-green, you will play that, and I think it's worth splashing a color for if you can fix for it.
Sure. Which
I can, for sure.
Yep.
Study, which was kind of a gamble. I just never played it before.
You have 2 of them now, right?
Was that the second one? Yeah. I know I ended up with 2. I was probably just being a chatty Cathy through the first pick. I don't know exactly how big it's going to be, but I just want to try it. So I'm excited about all 3 of these. Synchronized Strike is an amazing blowout combat trick. Glorious End, I think, is perfectly fine playable. I feel like you can put 1 in almost anything, and you'll be fine. And then the Evolving Wilds would have been good for my fixing. So there were options there. I went with the one I know can do the most work.
Sure. Another Electrify.
A little more removal. So I'm starting to feel better all of a sudden. Because now I've got several removal and, maybe some mediocre creatures, but they might get me there.
Ooh, Evolving Wilds. Oh, Sunscorch doesn't. Never mind. I just see a gray land and think Evolving Wilds.
Colorless land. It's exactly what you want it to be.
Yep.
Just make it up.
But Tormenting Voice seems great.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like there's more advantage to it when you are playing more colors and you can ditch your second forest you don't need for...
Or the blue uncastable card.
Yeah. Painted Bluffs is not terrible in this sort of deck also.
Yeah.
But I really like Quarry Hauler. It's a very good common. It's a good size for its cost, and the versatile... Sorry, James, I'll take speaking lessons again before...
All right.
There's my second Drake.
Oh, there he is.
You lied to me.
Oh, I spoiled it.
Anyway, the Camel.
Yes.
It can kill things that already have counters on it. It can add brick counters. It can do all kinds of cool stuff. If you're playing green, I'm never sad to take a bunch of camels. Reduced to Rubble, it's a card I always thought looked cool, and I don't know how excited I am about it, but I was excited to try it.
Sure, I'm excited that you have 3 split cards in there in all your colors.
Yeah. I feel very committed to Teamer colors at this point.
I mean, I still don't know what's happening there, but
yeah. I'm hoping I'll just open some sick bomb.
Right?
Oh,
that would be awesome
reward.
if you open a sick bomb.
I think, man, if I'd been taking black picks this whole time. I also wanted Trial of Solidarity. Would have been very good. Yeah, Dusk would have been rough even if I did splash in white because it's got double in its cost. Lay Claim is a very powerful bomb. And I don't know, it sort of solidified my blueness more so because most of my picks were just green-red previously.
Yeah.
And that made me feel a lot safer about committing. So finally, pack 3, I've got it figured out.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, I was happy about this. This was the big bomb I needed.
The Scaled Behemoth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is better than a lot of rares.
Yeah, it is. Oh, could you imagine? Man, I want to just force green until I can open 2 or 3 of them. That's all I want to do now. And then I want to open those and I want to cast Unburden.
Let me tell you, the only time I drew it all night, I cast it and immediately had to like triple block with it and something else to kill a giant thing. And even though it was the only creature I lost, it was the first pick, obviously. Like the math worked out. It was a very favorable trade for me, except I lost my best card.
Yeah, but at least you had it.
At least I had it.
Was that funny?
No, it was sad.
Oh, wait, look at that top card in the back there. Oh, man, I wish you were in black.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, man. Even past Brandon wishes he was in black. Oof.
I like Limits because it's one of my favorite steel cards I think they've ever made. Just because when you need it, it's a blowout, and when you don't want it at all.
Yeah.
I think if it weren't for that, I probably would have taken the Bitterblade Warrior.
Sure.
Try and lower my curve a little bit.
Spidery Grasp.
I'm always fond of Gale Strike, maybe more than most people, but
yeah, I
like it a lot.
I remember playing it at the pre-releases and hearing people say, "Oh, that card's bad," and then using it on them and thinking, "This card's fine."
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Because yeah, the creature has to be tapped, but if it's attacking you, it's tapped. So, I guess unless it's vigilant, then it's not tapped. Then you're in trouble.
That happened to me the previous week.
Ooh, Vizier of Deferment would be cool if you were in white. God, you should have been 5-color.
Yeah, I should have. That is the consensus. Even by this point in drafting, I realized how cool and I think actually an improvement it would have been if I were in 5-color. Plus notes about this whole thing. I didn't run into mana problems at all. I very consistently had all 3 colors. I was largely curving out through most of the night. And I didn't get hung up at all.
There's another Spring to mind.
Yeah, which I take, so more fixing. So I've got, I think, 4 mana fixers. And I very consistently... Yeah, like I said, I didn't get hung up at all on anything. But I just didn't have any really good cards that won me the game for doing that. I would be interactive and doing stuff and defending myself well, and then I would just kind of peter out without... You know, like I said, I only drew that Scaled Behemoth once, and maybe if I got that more, that could have been the difference of winning more games.
I like Giant Spider.
Yeah, especially noting I like it more than in a normal set because of how powerful the flyers are in this.
Yep.
You know, everybody's crazy about that 3/2 in blue that I drafted a couple of. The Avon. You know, it trumps that outright. Yeah, so I was happy to get the trial since I had 2 cartouches. I did end up playing both my blue and green cartouche.
And we had a little conversation about Monument of Ronus.
Yeah, I ended up picking it, but not feeling like... I had an okay creature count, but I didn't feel like it was designed to like curve out and be attacking every turn.
Sure.
So I ended up not playing it.
But generically, this card's very good.
Yeah.
You convinced me of that. I was like, should you play this card? And then you said, no, James, you're stupid.
And then I didn't play it.
And then he didn't play it.
What with the Watchers just as a 2-drop, which I think I ended up not playing either, which might have been silly. Being in 3-color, that's the thing I could consistently cast on turn 2, regardless of what lands I have. So I just got lucky that was irrelevant.
There's another reduce.
The reduce to Rebels, I sided in and out throughout the night, depending on the match.
Interesting.
I think I only ever drew and cast one once. My first match was against blue-green, just stompy guys with combat tricks, kind of. He had some bounce spells and some pump effects. And I don't even remember what the magic trick was. Like I said, I was just doing stuff all the time, and none of it was really... I guess it was kind of tempo-y.
Sure.
And I ended up getting there real consistently. I beat him in 2 in a pretty fast amount of time. And I didn't feel like his deck seemed to play bad. I was suddenly like, oh man, maybe this deck is better than I realized. We were in a 10-mad pod. 10-mad... I need to just start today over, James.
All right, we're going to roll back the clock.
I was in 10-man pod. And so round 2, after winning the first, I got paired down, which is fine. It happens. Everybody kind of feels, grumpy about that. Whatever. My round 2 opponent had the most sick black-blue cycling deck that I have seen anybody create so far in Limited. There was a point where he cycled a spell for 1 mana, then spent 4 mana to trigger his 4 effects on the board. He put 2 -1 counters on one of my creatures, killing it. He got to drain 2 life from me and make a 2/2 Drake token.
Oh, wow.
For 5 mana and drawing a card.
Yeah.
And that was what the entire match was like. And he destroyed me, and I was appalled that he lost his first match.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It was ridiculous. And I don't know, we had a kind of interactive first game, and then he just steamrolled me the second game. And he was like, yeah, that's what it's been doing most of the time. And I guess this round 1 opponent just like curved out really well and just aggroed him down.
Yeah, that'll happen.
The highlight of the night was that he's got the cycling deck. Oh, he had I don't know the name of it. The 6-mana enchantment that then if you have 7 or more cards in your hand, you just get a cycle for free.
Oh.
And he did that to me. He played it and then triggered a bunch of stuff, and it was so demoralizing.
Man, that's really cool. I'm really happy that happened. I'm sad it happened to you.
Nobody else was taking any cards that he wanted.
Sure.
Obviously.
Because if I was going to draft, that would be the one deck I would want to try and play.
So what I was very excited to share with you personally, James, was that there was a point where he had 7 cards in hand and that out, and he could have cycled 2 cards in his hand for free and triggered a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
And gotten like some really cool advantage. But what he chose to do instead was double cast Unburden and make me discard my 4 cards in hand. So he just completely ditched the point of his deck to make me lose my hand. I was so sad. And that was how he steamrolled me in the second game, was he was triggering all this stuff and then took a break to stop me from doing anything for the rest of the game.
Oh, somebody commented in our Facebook group.
Yeah, I saw that Sam had
YouTube
mentioned, because he watched that happen to me and then went home and watched the other video and listened to us talk about Unburden from previous week.
Oh, but do we want to talk about the actual deck that you built?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I noted it. Something that was kind of cool. The Drakes ended up being better than I expected. So in general, they were 2/4s. There were a couple times I played them as 0/4s, and that was kind of a bummer, but they'd grow fast enough after that, or I could save it for an instant when they maybe weren't counting on it.
Yeah.
So I think a 3/4 was the biggest they got in my deck, and I knew I was kind of instant and sorcery light. But I was happy with them as 2/4s.
Sure.
So, I don't know, if you've got 5 or 7 instants or sorceries, if you happen to be playing those colors, I think they're worth it.
All right.
Part of my thought of wanting to play them was they'd be blockers against the flying creatures. So at the least some survivability against a deck that would otherwise trounce me.
Sure.
Oh, and then even though I won the first match, and then I lost the second match to a deck that was awesome, I just the right amount of people dropped. I got the bye in the third round, being 1-1.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it was a very anticlimactic draft night for me.
Yeah.
I think it definitely would have been a better deck if I'd gone 5 color. Particularly, there were like 5 black picks I could have taken. I think would have given me more consistency and oomph.
Sure.
But overall, it was fun, and I don't think the deck was terrible. I thought it was terrible when I finished drafting, and then I, getting to play it a little bit, even getting destroyed, I was still like, oh, okay, well, this was like a viable deck.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you gotta play you can look at a pile and evaluate it, but it works very differently in practice.
That's part of the reason why I let rares sometimes dictate my colors more than I know is strategically smart, but just because, hey, heaven to earth, I haven't played Green Ride yet, so let's see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, and it's easy to fall into the trap that, everybody says, what was that, Wings, Wind, Gale Strike?
Gale Strike.
People are like, oh, Gale Strike's not very good, but I played Gale Strike, I like Gale Strike.
Yeah.
But if I listen to... If I let other people tell me what cards are good, then I'm less likely to explore those options.
Yeah, I always just try stuff. Try stuff is fun.
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Try stuff, like, for example, liking and subscribing and watching our next video.
Try it, guys.